Sir Jim Ratcliffe set to make a new approach for Manchester United, but what will this involve? That's what we'll be discussing on today's show. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. So the story is coming out from Fabrizio Romano as well as a couple of other journalists in the UK this afternoon. And the headline is this: Sir Jim Ratcliffe now wants a majority stake in Manchester United and full control over the club or nothing. Now, does this mean that he's going to go for the full 100% then? I think that does sound like what Fabrizio was saying this afternoon. There's another story on the same matter saying that British billionaire is now ready to restructure his offer to buy Manchester United in order to reach an agreement with the current owners, the Glazers. Bloomberg were also talking about this yesterday, saying pretty much the same thing, but slightly different wording, saying that apparently Sir Jim Ratcliffe is set to put in a new bid, and their understanding is that it's going to be for more of the club than 50%. So that would be most likely to buy out the whole of the Glazers' share. Please remember that the Glazers only own 69% of Manchester United, with the other 31% being held on the New York Stock Exchange. Obviously, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's initial bid was for only 50% of the club, which would give him the majority share, with the Glazers retaining 18% and then the New York Stock Exchange, various different investors holding 31%. Now, you're probably asking, what does this mean for Manchester United? And do you think that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be successful? Well, from my perspective, I think this actually weakens Sir Jim Ratcliffe's hand, because one of the main incentives for the Glazers to go with Sir Jim Ratcliffe was that they were going to be able to stay. But if he's now saying that he wants to take over all of the club and he wants to take over full control, as Fabrizio Romano is saying, then I don't really see why they would sell to Sir Jim Ratcliffe unless he was going to offer more money. But from an actual club's perspective, surely the people who work at Manchester United know that what Sheikh Jassim is offering by way of development, by way of building a new stadium, by way of clearing the debt, all of those things are far better for Manchester United in the long run. Even if Sir Jim Ratcliffe says, right, I'll buy 100% of the club, I'll offer the same amount of the money that Sheikh Jassim's offered, reportedly around 5 billion. Surely Manchester United's advisors, surely the people on the board, the John Murters, the Richard Arnolds, the other people in and around Carrington would look at the two proposals and say, well, they've offered the same amount of money, okay, but Sheikh Jassim's bid is way more favourable for the club for the future. But let me know what you think about that. I assume that most people who've looked at the two bids so far and looked at what both parties have promised are siding with Sheikh Jassim. I understand those people who are a bit unsure about Sheikh Jassim by way of the the human rights stuff and greenwashing. Obviously is the same on Sir Jim Ratcliffe's side. There are both question marks. There are question marks on both sides of the bid, so we do have to be considerate of both of those things. I don't think either of the bidder is perfect. I know obviously there's all the human rights issues around Sheikh Jassim and Qatar, but then there's also all the greenwashing issues around Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So I don't think either of the bidders are 100% perfect. And I think that Manchester United at this point need to take what's best for the club in the long run. And if Sir Jim Ratcliffe is now going to offer the same amount of money, say, but for the whole club, the same as what Sheikh Jassim's offered, then for me, it has to be Sheikh Jassim. Why would they sell to Sir Jim Ratcliffe? It makes zero sense. The only way I ever saw him staying was if he gave the Glazers a share, but I just don't see him wanting to do that now. I just want to mention this. I just want to give a fair argument across the show because I don't want to be biased, but everybody is really, really critical about Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Nice. They've been very, very poor. They've been finishing, outside of the Champions League places for the last 2 or 3 seasons since he came in. But this season, they've been off to a really good start. They're second in the French league. They've got 12 points from their first 6 games. They're above PSG. Whether or not this will continue, I'm not entirely sure. They did actually just beat PSG a couple of weeks ago. So they've had quite a good season so far. They just beat Monaco away, PSG away. They beat Strasbourg as well. They've had a really, really good start to the season. Now, I don't know whether this has been due to something that he's done personally, whether players he's recruited. I'm not entirely sure personally, but for me, it doesn't really change anything. We're 6 games into the season. If at the end of the season, yes, they've won the league and they're in the Champions League, maybe then you might look at it and say, maybe we need to take his bid a little bit more seriously. But at this point in time, I just think that what he offers doesn't get us any further. It doesn't clear the debt. It doesn't give us a new stadium. And those are all the things that are essential for our redevelopment. I think that Sir Jim Ratcliffe would just be more of the same of what the Glazers have offered us over the last 18 or so years. So let me know what you guys think about this one, and let me know which way you think this story is going to go. Obviously, at the moment, we are just waiting for that final bit of news, but from what I'm gathering today, it looks like both bidders are going to be putting in new bids. They're going to be restructuring their bids. They're going to be trying to get this deal over the line. So I would expect in the next week or so, we don't get news on who the new owner is going to be, I think we'll get a new bid from both sides, as Fabrizio has said today, as Bloomberg said yesterday, and as various different newspapers in the UK said about Sir Jim Ratcliffe today. But let me know what your thoughts are on this story. Which way is the Manchester United takeover going to go? Are you concerned? Let me know your thoughts. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil. I've been Kieran, and I'll catch you all on the next one.